Have you ever noticed how the world throws its sharpest criticism at those who shine the brightest? You've probably had someone try to tear you down with words, right? But what if I told you that the Sigma female doesn't even need to reply to those haters to win? What if silence is her strongest weapon? Here's the deal. Every day you walk through life, minding your own business, staying true to yourself. But then, boom, someone throws shade, a nasty comment, or some passive-aggressive remark your way. It's like they're trying to cut you down. You feel it, don't you? That sting of judgment that you know isn't true, but it hits anyway. It's exhausting, isn't it? These people who don't get you, who don't understand your vibe, but they just keep coming at you. You know they want you to respond, to react, to show emotion. But here's the kicker: the Sigma female. She doesn't play that game. She handles it differently, and I'm about to tell you how. What if I told you that the Sigma female mind has a secret to dealing with negativity without ever saying a word? She doesn't get bogged down by others' hate because she's too focused on her own path. She lets her confidence and inner peace do the talking. Sounds like something you want to master, right? In today's video, we're going to talk about how the Sigma female mind neutralizes haters without uttering a single word. If you've ever felt drained by the opinions of others, this one's for you. It's time to shift your perspective and step into your power without saying a thing. Let's get real. We live in a world where opinions are everywhere. Everyone seems to have something to say about who you are, how you should live, or what you should be doing. And yeah, it can get under your skin. Maybe you've tried to explain yourself before. Maybe you've even clapped back. But deep down, you know that the more you react, the more you give them power over your peace. It's draining, and it's time to stop. So, what does the Sigma female do? She taps into her mind, her inner strength, and chooses silence. She doesn't waste energy on validation. She doesn't waste time on negativity. Her presence alone shifts the energy in the room, and the haters can't even touch that. Sounds like a superpower, right? Now it's time for some real talk. How the Sigma female mind neutralizes haters without saying a word. 1. The Sigma female doesn't take it personally. When a hater comes for the Sigma female, it's not about her, it's about them. The Sigma female understands something most people don't. When someone criticizes or attacks you, it says more about their struggles than it does about your character. It's not a reflection of who you are, but of the place they're coming from. People who throw shade or try to tear others down are usually dealing with their own insecurities, frustrations, or unresolved issues. A hater's words are often a direct result of their inner turmoil. The Sigma female knows this. She doesn't take their negativity as her own because it's not about her. It's about the emotional baggage the other person is carrying. Most people take harsh words personally, reacting with anger, frustration, or self-doubt. But the Sigma female doesn't do that. Instead, she steps back and looks at the bigger picture. She realizes that what they say or do is just noise. It doesn't define her, and it doesn't change her worth. The Sigma female doesn't internalize that energy. When she faces criticism, she doesn't let it sink in or affect her. Instead of letting the words linger in her mind, she brushes them off, focusing on her own peace and goals. This mental clarity is a key component of her strength. The Sigma female doesn't let someone else's issues contaminate her own energy. She understands that people project their pain onto others, but that pain isn't hers to carry. Whether it's jealousy, bitterness, or an attempt to feel superior, the Sigma female doesn't accept those negative emotions as truth. She knows that the person lashing out is simply struggling to cope with their own situation. Rather than meeting negativity with more negativity, she takes a step back and stays grounded in her own truth. The Sigma female's response is always calm and composed because she realizes that people who lash out are simply in need of healing. She doesn't take offense, and she certainly doesn't engage. The Sigma female doesn't get lost in the drama or give it her time. Instead, she recognizes that staying silent is her best response. This silence isn't weakness, it's power. By not reacting, she sends a message that she isn't affected by the opinion of others. She knows her worth, and she doesn't need anyone's validation to feel good about herself. The Sigma female lets it roll off like water on a duck's back. When negativity comes her way, she lets it slide right off without allowing it to penetrate her. It's almost as if the criticism or harsh words don't even exist in her world. She moves forward, unbothered and unaffected. Her confidence is rooted in her sense of self, and no one else's judgment can take that away from her. While others might react emotionally to criticism, the Sigma female stays in control of her emotions. Her ability to detach from negativity allows her to maintain peace of mind and stay focused on what truly matters. This skill is something that sets her apart from others. She doesn't let external forces shake her internal balance. The Sigma female knows that her peace is sacred, and she doesn't allow anyone to disturb it. She remains steady in the face of adversity because she understands that nothing and no one can take away her sense of self-worth unless she allows it. The Sigma female doesn't take things personally because she recognizes the bigger picture. It's not about her, it's about them, and she won't allow their negativity to cloud her own mental clarity. If you're enjoying this and want more tips on embracing your inner strength, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe, and leave a comment letting me know how you handle negativity. 2. The Sigma female knows her worth. Haters don't faze the Sigma female because she's already validated herself. Her confidence is rooted in who she is, not in anyone else's approval. The Sigma female doesn't rely on others to feel good about herself because she knows deep down that her value isn't determined by external factors. This is a critical mindset. Many people depend on validation from others to feel secure, whether it's from family, friends, colleagues, or social media likes. But the Sigma female doesn't need that. She understands that true self-worth comes from within, not from the opinions or judgments of others. It's easy to let people's praise or criticism influence how we see ourselves, especially when it feels like the whole world is watching. But the Sigma female doesn't get caught up in the highs and lows of external validation. She stays true to who she is, regardless of what others say or think. The Sigma female is clear about her strengths, her values, and her purpose. She doesn't doubt her worth because she has taken the time to understand herself. This self-awareness is what makes her stand out. She knows what she brings to the table, and she doesn't need anyone else to tell her. People may try to tear her down, question her abilities, or dismiss her achievements, but none of that shakes her. She has built a solid foundation of self-respect that can't be cracked by petty comments or negativity. The Sigma female also knows that everyone has their own journey, their own struggles, and their own path to follow. She doesn't compare herself to others because she recognizes that her journey is unique to her. She is not in competition with anyone else, and she certainly doesn't measure her success based on someone else's standards. Her only competition is herself, becoming a better version of who she was yesterday. The Sigma female also understands that not everyone will like her, and that's okay. She doesn't waste time trying to gain the approval of people who aren't her true supporters. She knows that seeking validation from those who don't understand her is a futile exercise. Instead, she seeks to be the best version of herself for herself. This inner confidence and self-assurance give the Sigma female a quiet power. She doesn't boast or brag, but there is a magnetic energy about her that draws people in. Her confidence is humble, yet undeniable. People are naturally attracted to her because they can sense her authenticity. The Sigma female doesn't try to fit in with any group or mold because she's already comfortable with who she is. She knows that there's no need to change herself to be accepted. She doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. The Sigma female has a deep sense of self-love that allows her to move through the world without seeking constant reassurance from others. This inner strength gives her an incredible sense of peace. She walks through life with a calmness that others can't help but notice. Her self-assuredness comes from knowing her worth and not needing anyone's approval to feel validated. No matter what others say or do, the Sigma female is secure in her own skin, and that is her superpower. She knows her worth, and no one can take that from her. 3. The Sigma female focuses on what matters. The Sigma female won't waste time fighting battles that don't serve her growth. Instead of engaging in pointless drama or responding to negativity, the Sigma female channels her energy into things that contribute to her well-being, happiness, and personal development. She is always mindful of where she spends her time and energy because she understands that both are precious resources. Life is short, and the Sigma female isn't interested in getting caught up in distractions that don't align with her purpose. When a hater or negative situation comes into her life, the Sigma female doesn't give it more importance than it deserves. She doesn't allow herself to be drawn into unnecessary arguments, toxic debates, or anything that will take her off course. Instead, she steps back, evaluates the situation, and chooses to focus on what truly matters: her goals, her passions, and her personal journey. One of the things that sets the Sigma female apart is her ability to stay laser-focused on her mission. While others may get distracted by drama, gossip, or outside pressures, the Sigma female keeps her eyes on her own path. She understands that if she allows herself to get involved in negative energy, she's not going to move forward in life. The Sigma female knows that the best way to deal with haters is to not let them interfere with her flow. She refuses to waste her time or mental space on people who don't matter in the grand scheme of her life. Her energy is reserved for things that add value to her growth and happiness. The Sigma female doesn't waste time on regret or resentment either. When people criticize her or try to bring her down, she lets it go. She understands that holding on to negativity only weighs her down, and she has no time for that. Instead, she chooses to forgive and move forward. She knows that every moment spent on negative emotions is a moment she could have spent creating, growing, or building toward her dreams. Focus is the Sigma female's secret weapon. When she sets her sights on something, she doesn't get distracted by anything or anyone. She doesn't let others define her pace or tell her how she should be living her life. She goes at her own speed, moves toward her goals with determination, and blocks out any noise that tries to steer her off course. Whether it's work, a passion project, or self-improvement, the Sigma female devotes her time and energy to what truly matters to her. She doesn't let the opinions or actions of others derail her progress. This ability to filter out distractions and remain focused is a major reason why the Sigma female is so successful. When she commits to something, she does so with intention. She prioritizes her own growth over getting involved in external conflict. The Sigma female knows that if she wants to continue to evolve, she has to stay focused on herself. The key to her strength is her ability to choose her battles wisely. She knows when to engage and when to walk away. The Sigma female's focus is her superpower because it allows her to move through life with clarity and purpose, never getting sidetracked by negativity or external pressures. She doesn't waste time on things that don't serve her growth, and that's what allows her to keep moving forward while others stay stuck. Before we move on to the next point, if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do that. Also, drop a comment telling me how you stay grounded in your worth. I'd love to hear from you. 4. The Sigma female doesn't need external validation. What others think. That's none of the Sigma female's business. She doesn't rely on the approval of others to feel good about herself. Unlike many who seek reassurance from others, the Sigma female already knows her value. Her self-worth doesn't depend on what anyone else says or does because she has learned the most important lesson. True validation comes from within. The Sigma female is confident in her own skin, and she doesn't need anyone to tell her she's doing well or that she's worthy. She doesn't need constant praise, attention, or applause to feel secure. While some people might bend over backward to gain the approval of others, the Sigma female doesn't waste her time on that. She has learned that depending on others for validation is a trap. It's never enough. You can win all the praise in the world, but it's fleeting. The applause dies down, the compliments fade, and suddenly you're left questioning your worth. But the Sigma female knows this. She doesn't need that external validation. She gives herself credit, and that's all that matters. When she accomplishes something, she doesn't wait for someone to notice and tell her it's impressive. She already knows. Her internal dialogue is where her self-worth lives, not in the opinions of others. The Sigma female's sense of self-worth is rooted deeply in who she is as a person. She doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. Whether someone compliments her or criticizes her, it doesn't change her sense of self. When the Sigma female walks into a room, she doesn't need anyone's approval to feel powerful. Her confidence doesn't come from external sources. It comes from the deep belief that she is enough, just as she is. This is one of the greatest strengths of the Sigma female. She has learned the art of self-validation. She doesn't need to seek out praise, nor does she let negative feedback crush her spirit. She has an unwavering belief in her abilities, and that belief is enough. The Sigma female doesn't seek approval because she understands that seeking it from others is a never-ending cycle. When you rely on others for validation, you're always chasing something outside of yourself. The Sigma female has no time for that. She doesn't want or need someone else's opinion to determine her worth. She defines herself. This doesn't mean the Sigma female is arrogant or dismissive of others. She just knows where her worth lies. It lies within herself. She understands that external validation is often fleeting and that it's far more important to be internally validated. When someone criticizes or praises her, she knows how to take it in stride. She doesn't let others define her reality. Her truth is what she believes about herself. She stands firm in her identity, regardless of what anyone says. The Sigma female has mastered the power of self-validation. She doesn't need a crowd to affirm her existence or her actions. She knows her worth without anyone else's input. The Sigma female is grounded in herself, confident in her ability to navigate life without relying on others to tell her she's doing a good job. This internal strength is what keeps her moving forward, unaffected by the opinions of those around her. Her validation comes from within, and that's the source of her true power. 5. The Sigma female knows how to walk away. When the energy around her becomes toxic or unproductive, she doesn't hesitate to walk away. The Sigma female understands that her time and energy are far too valuable to be spent on situations or people that drain her. Whether it's a toxic relationship, a job that doesn't align with her values, or simply a conversation that isn't going anywhere, the Sigma female knows when to remove herself from the situation. Walking away doesn't mean she's weak or scared. It means she's strong enough to recognize when something isn't right for her and has the confidence to leave it behind. The Sigma female is secure in her choices and doesn't need to stay in uncomfortable or negative situations to prove anything to anyone. She has learned that sometimes the best move is to simply walk away, preserving her energy, her peace, and her focus for what truly matters. The Sigma female understands that there is no need to force things. If a situation, person, or opportunity doesn't feel right, she trusts her intuition and steps away. She doesn't try to convince others of her worth or make people understand her point of view if they're not open to it. Instead, she knows that if it's meant to be, it will align naturally, without her forcing it. She doesn't engage in pointless debates or arguments that go nowhere. The Sigma female values her peace above all, and if something is disturbing that peace, she doesn't hesitate to leave. She knows that walking away isn't a sign of defeat. It's an act of strength. It takes courage to walk away from something, especially when you're expected to stay and fight. But the Sigma female isn't swayed by what others expect. She chooses what's best for herself. She isn't afraid to walk away from relationships, jobs, or even friendships that no longer serve her. The Sigma female is perfectly comfortable with being alone, and she understands that solitude is often more peaceful than staying in a toxic environment. This ability to walk away allows her to maintain control over her life and her direction. She doesn't allow external forces to dictate her actions. Instead, she confidently makes decisions that align with her values, her goals, and her well-being. Walking away also shows that the Sigma female is in control of her boundaries. She knows what she will and won't tolerate, and when something crosses that line, she doesn't stick around to let it drain her. Whether it's a disrespectful person or a situation that doesn't align with her goals, the Sigma female will remove herself without hesitation. Her confidence in walking away is a reflection of her strong sense of self. She doesn't need to explain or justify her decision. She trusts her instincts, and she doesn't second-guess them. The Sigma female knows that when something doesn't align with her values, it's time to move on, and she does so without guilt or regret. Walking away for the Sigma female is a statement of self-respect and empowerment. She will never allow herself to be stuck in a situation that isn't right for her, and she has the strength to move on and keep building her life on her own terms. If you're loving this content, give a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe for more. Comment below on what keeps you focused and share your experience with the community. 6. The Sigma female uses silence as a weapon. There's power in silence. When a hater expects a response and gets none, they're left with nothing. The Sigma female doesn't feel the need to speak up or argue because she knows that not reacting is often the most powerful response she can give. Her silence isn't passive, it's strategic, it's a form of strength. When negativity or criticism comes her way, the Sigma female doesn't feel the urge to engage in a back and forth. She doesn't need to defend herself, explain herself, or justify her actions. She knows that when you engage with someone who's negative or judgmental, you're only giving them power over your emotions. She refuses to give anyone that kind of power. By staying silent, the Sigma female sends a clear message. You don't affect me. The silence itself speaks volumes. It shows that she's unaffected, unfazed, and that she's not going to waste her time on people who are trying to bring her down. In a world that thrives on reactions, the Sigma female understands that silence creates space for her to remain in control of her emotions. It's easy to fall into the trap of wanting to prove people wrong or show them that you're strong. But the Sigma female knows that the strongest person in the room is often the one who doesn't need to say a word to make her presence known. Her calm, composed demeanor is a reflection of her inner peace. She doesn't need to engage in drama or arguments to feel validated. Her confidence is unwavering, and she doesn't need to vocalize it to make others see it. The Sigma female understands that silence is often the most effective way to shut down a hater. When someone throws negativity her way, she doesn't engage. She doesn't give them the satisfaction of seeing her riled up. Instead, she remains calm, composed, and unaffected. Her silence becomes a shield. It's not that the Sigma female doesn't have an opinion or that she doesn't have the ability to argue back. She just knows when it's not worth her energy. She chooses her battles carefully and only invests her time and energy into things that truly matter. By staying silent, she's also able to keep her peace. People may try to provoke her, but the Sigma female remains steady, grounded in her own truth. She doesn't let the noise around her drown out her inner voice. The silence doesn't mean she's weak or scared. It means she's strong enough to stay above the negativity. The Sigma female also understands that some people are simply looking for a reaction. They want to see you lose your cool, to get emotional, and to respond. But the Sigma female doesn't fall into that trap. She doesn't give them the satisfaction. She remains composed, knowing that her silence will leave them questioning themselves. In the end, silence is a reflection of the Sigma female's strength and emotional intelligence. She doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. She lets her actions, her confidence, and her presence speak for themselves. 7. The Sigma female stays grounded in her purpose. Haters can only throw shade when they distract the Sigma female from her purpose. But for the Sigma female, her mission in life is crystal clear, and nothing can steer her off course. She knows exactly what she wants and where she's going. There's no room for doubt or uncertainty in her path because she has a vision, and she's committed to making it happen. When others try to interfere or bring negativity into her life, she doesn't get thrown off track. She's grounded in her purpose, and she knows that nothing outside of her will determine her success. People may try to throw her off balance, criticizing her choices or questioning her decisions, but the Sigma female isn't swayed. She doesn't let the opinions of others disrupt her flow. She understands that criticism often comes from a place of insecurity or misunderstanding, and she doesn't take it to heart. Instead, she keeps her focus on what matters most, her own journey. The Sigma female's purpose is not defined by anyone else's standards. She has carved out her own path, and she walks it with confidence, even if it means walking alone. She doesn't need external validation to stay true to her vision. She knows who she is and what she's meant to do. While others may be distracted by the noise of the world, the Sigma female keeps her eyes locked on her goals. She doesn't waste time comparing herself to others because she understands that her journey is uniquely hers. She doesn't let others' opinions dictate her pace or her direction. The Sigma female's sense of purpose is a powerful force that keeps her grounded, no matter what challenges arise. When faced with adversity, she doesn't get lost in the struggle. Instead, she reminds herself of her purpose and pushes forward. The Sigma female's confidence is rooted in her belief that her mission is bigger than any setback or negativity that comes her way. She doesn't get bogged down by distractions because she understands that they only take her away from what really matters. Whether it's criticism, doubt, or setbacks, the Sigma female knows how to stay grounded in her purpose. She uses challenges as opportunities to grow stronger, and she doesn't let them shake her sense of direction. In fact, the more obstacles she faces, the more determined she becomes to achieve her goals. The Sigma female doesn't need anyone to tell her what to do or how to live her life, because she already knows. Her purpose is her guiding light, and it's always within her reach. It doesn't matter what others think or how they try to steer her off course. She stays true to herself. The Sigma female knows that staying grounded in her purpose is what will ultimately lead her to success. No one else's opinion can sway her. No outside noise can drown out her inner voice. Her purpose is her North Star, and it will always guide her forward. The Sigma female has learned to trust herself completely, and that trust allows her to stay focused and unshaken no matter what the world throws her way. 8. The Sigma female doesn't compare herself to others. The Sigma female knows that comparison is the thief of joy. She doesn't waste time measuring herself against anyone else because she understands that every person has their own journey, their own set of circumstances, and their own timeline. While others might get caught up in the success or failures of people around them, the Sigma female stays focused on herself. She doesn't need to compete with others or feel threatened by their accomplishments because she knows that her path is unique. The Sigma female understands that comparison is a trap. When you compare yourself to someone else, you're either measuring up to a standard that isn't yours or feeling inadequate because you're not where they are yet. The Sigma female doesn't buy into that mindset. She recognizes that her journey is different, and that's what makes it valuable. Instead of focusing on what others are doing, she focuses on what she can do to improve herself. She knows that growth comes from within, not from looking at someone else's progress. The Sigma female uses her energy to become the best version of herself, not to compete with others. This mindset frees her from the toxic cycle of comparison, where you're constantly feeling like you're not enough or you're falling behind. She doesn't allow herself to fall into that trap. She stays grounded in her own worth and understands that her value isn't dependent on how she stacks up against anyone else. The Sigma female doesn't compare her beginning to someone else's middle or end. She knows that everyone has their own timing, and there's no need to rush or compare. Instead, she focuses on her own growth and takes pride in her journey. While others may be distracted by external measures of success, the Sigma female stays focused on what truly matters: her inner peace, her goals, and her personal fulfillment. She doesn't let outside noise or the achievements of others shake her sense of self-worth. The Sigma female understands that comparison can often lead to feelings of inadequacy or self-doubt. It's easy to look at someone else's life and think that they have it all figured out, but the Sigma female knows better. She knows that everyone has their struggles, their own battles, and their own challenges. No one's life is as perfect as it may seem from the outside, so rather than getting bogged down in what other people are doing, the Sigma female channels her energy into her own personal growth. She stays focused on her own goals, knowing that the only competition she needs to worry about is herself. The Sigma female doesn't waste time wishing she had someone else's life. Instead, She takes pride in the life she is creating for herself. She understands that success is not a one-size-fits-all concept, and she defines it on her own terms. The Sigma female's peace of mind comes from knowing that she is on the right path for herself, and she doesn't need to compare her journey to anyone else's to feel fulfilled. The key to all of this: the Sigma female isn't defensive, she's empowered. Her silence is her shield. It's not a sign of weakness, but of strength. While the world around her is constantly pushing and pulling, trying to provoke her into responding, she remains unmoved. She knows that by choosing not to engage in negativity, she's protecting her energy and her peace. Her silence isn't about hiding or avoiding conflict. It's about standing in her power without feeling the need to justify herself or her actions to anyone. The Sigma female knows that when she reacts emotionally to others' hatred or judgment, she loses control over her own energy. That's why she refuses to give anyone the satisfaction of seeing her upset or defensive. Instead, she remains calm, centered, and focused on what matters: her own path, her own growth, her own happiness. When the world throws negativity her way, she doesn't give it the power to consume her. Her silence is the ultimate form of control. It's a quiet, steady declaration that she's untouchable and that no one's words can alter her course. It doesn't matter if someone tries to provoke her with insults or criticism. The Sigma female's silence is all she needs to communicate her strength. She doesn't need to argue or explain herself. Her actions speak louder than words. Her calmness shows the world that she is unshaken, confident in who she is, and completely unbothered by the negativity around her. She's fully aware that not everyone will like her, and that's fine. In fact, she doesn't need to be liked by everyone because she likes herself just the way she is. She stands firm in her truth, and that's more than enough. The Sigma female doesn't lower herself to engage in petty drama or unnecessary conflict. She has mastered the art of remaining centered, no matter what is happening around her. Her silence is her strength, her shield against the forces that would try to knock her off course. It's not a sign of weakness. It's a demonstration of emotional intelligence, of knowing when to speak and when to remain still. Her silence is a force in itself, powerful, unyielding, and absolutely necessary for her peace. To all the Sigma females out there, remember this: your power is in your mind. Haters can't touch you if you refuse to give them space in your life. You don't need to engage in negativity or prove anything to anyone. By choosing silence, setting boundaries, and prioritizing inner peace, you take your energy back and put it where it matters most: on yourself. It's not about fighting back or responding to every little comment. It's about reclaiming your power and refusing to let anyone else control your emotions or your peace of mind. By standing firm in your silence, you neutralize negativity before it even has a chance to affect you. This is your superpower. The more you practice this, the stronger you become. You become untouchable because you realize that no one can truly harm you unless you allow them to. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever found yourself dealing with a hater in silence? How did you feel afterward? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Was it empowering to walk away without reacting, or did it take some time to fully embrace this mindset? If you want more tips on staying true to yourself, finding inner peace, and boosting your confidence, make sure to check out the next video. You won't want to miss it. Stay strong, stay silent, and stay Sigma. Remember, your silence is your power.